The Bambino, the Sultan of SWAT, America's greatest sports hero. His awesome home run wallops revolutionized the game. He hit 714 in his lifetime, a record no player has ever threatened. His longest home run traveled 587 feet, almost the length of 2 football fields. Ruth's fame spread across the nation and even overseas to the streets of Japan. Wherever he traveled, the people greeted the home run king as a hero. This one man with his mighty muscles, quick reflexes, and keen eyes accomplished seemingly fantastic feats. He towered above the multitude. Everything the Babe did was news, from breaking records to exercising with a medicine ball. The Yankee slugger had only to appear in a children's hospital ward, and the room was bathed in smiles. He autographed baseballs by the thousands and gave wide-eyed youngsters tips on how to hit a home run ball. Yes, Babe Ruth became a legend. 12 years he led the league in homers. 4 times he hit 54 or more in a season. And over the span of his career, the Babe broke or equaled 54 Major League batting records. Baseball fans flocked to the ballparks in unprecedented numbers to watch the Babe perform his prodigious feats, even in special exhibitions. They might be fans of the team, but they were also fans of this one-man show. So great was Ruth's magnetism for attracting paying customers that Yankee Stadium became known as the house that Ruth built. They came to watch the Babe for 22 years until he played his final game in 1935. Years later, sad of eye, they returned once more for a farewell tribute to the man who came out of a Baltimore orphanage to become a national idol. His once mighty frame now wasted away, the Babe walked out to the scene of his many triumphs, and once again he brought down the house. Ruth started playing professional baseball for $600 a year. At his peak, he earned $80,000. Following his exploits, there were bigger salaries for sluggers who could hit home runs and bigger profits for the owners who hired them. The New York Ball Club acknowledged its debt to the Babe by retiring his famous number for all time. No other Yankee would ever again wear Ruth's number 3. Honored by baseball's Hall of Fame, Ruth was extolled as the game's greatest drawing card. Babe Ruth died in 1948. Behind him, he left many marvelous memories, among them the day he pointed to the stands where he would hit a home run on the very next pitch. Of all his records, Babe Ruth knew sluggers would strive hardest to surpass his 60 home runs in a single season. Yes, it was a mighty challenge.
Baseball needed a revival of faith. And in the 20s, Babe Ruth was exactly that. A necessary focal point of public confidence and adulation. He was the Babe. Honest, outspoken, and with the Babe to believe in, baseball went on. For Babe Ruth, every honor. From New York's Mayor Jimmy Walker to what the papers called the Great Unwashed. People came to pay him homage, to watch him practice the art of something he seemed almost to have invented, the home run. With the exception of 1925, he traveled the land, engaged in breaking records. He made 714 home runs in his career, a total that is probably matchless. And if he was adored by adults, their offspring paid him double homage. For in the years of his supremacy, and afterwards as well, the children of the nation truly adored the Babe. A love affair aided by all the trappings of publicity, and it was in need of none, for the adoration was sincere. And it's not too much to say that Babe Ruth always responded so warmly.
If there was a time that I'm going to try to hit a home run, it's sure going to be today. For you boys.
Hit a homer for kids? Why, sure he would. There it is. It's going, it's gone. The greatest home run hitter of all time, Babe Ruth, was a magical name that made the turnstile spin in Major League ballparks and here in the house that Ruth built. 714 times he made this familiar trot around the bases, the greatest idol in American sports, the Bambino, the Sultan of SWAT, Babe Ruth.
Ruth is a contract called for $80,000 for 2 years.
That's to be agreed upon. Will you kindly sign it?
Yes, sir, Colonel.
In 1930, just months after the stock market crashed, Babe Ruth signed a 2-year contract that paid him $80,000 a season, more money than any player had ever been paid in the history of the game.
Very, very successful season.
Yankee Stadium opened in 1923. It was known as the house that Ruth built. Helping to build it were the 59 homers he hit for the Yanks in 1921. The Babe packed them in not only at home, but wherever he went. They all wanted to be able to say that they saw Ruth hit one. Here he is in spring training as part of the most fearsome lineup of all time, Murderers Row. In 1927, he and Lou Gehrig hit 107 home runs between them. Many batters have tried to imitate Ruth's form and found it a mistake. Like Cobb, he was one of a kind. Here he meets Hack Wilson of the Cubs, the home run king of the other league. There are many legends about the Babe. Perhaps the most famous centers around the 1932 World Series.
Well, I was just one particular time when I went to bat. Charlie Ruth was pitching. And the first pitch ball was a called strike. Well, I thought it was outside and didn't like it very much. So the boys over there would give me this, on you. Well, the second pitch ball was another called strike. Well, I didn't like that one either, so I let it go by. Well, I stepped out of the box, and by that time they were over there going crazy. Well, I looked out at center field and I implored him. I said, I'm going to hit the next pitch ball right past the flagpole. Well, the good Lord must have been with me.
Ruth was a great pitcher, but an even greater talent took him from the mound. When in 1919, the young and lanky Babe, with his wife by his side, was honored with a gift of bonds, it was as a hitter of home runs. Next year, Ruth was sold to New York, where he was to become the greatest public figure in the history of American sports. Ruth's super sharp eyes and iron grip became the talk of the world. It's a homer by Babe Ruth, who in those days could really run. The Bambino was crowned King of SWAT by manager Huggins. The movies beckoned, and he briefly became the rival of John Barrymore, Douglas Fairbanks, and Gloria Swanson. Ruth remarried after the death of his first wife. The Babe liked to eat and live high, and on him it showed. Each spring, it was back to Artie McGovern's gym and the sweatbox. Though Ruth violated all the laws of conditioning, he remained a great natural athlete. He could scarcely hobble around the bases, but his home runs still rocketed into the stratosphere. In 20 years, he hit unbelievable 714 of them. All things must end, and one day Ruth left the field as a Yankee for the last time.
Looking thin and worn as a result of his long illness, the Bambino is still the game's greatest showman. And nostalgia is thick in the vast stadium when he's greeted by another Yankee builder, Ed Barrow. Today, the Babe wears his old uniform for the last time. His famous number 3 will never be worn by another Yankee player, but will go to America's baseball shrine at Cooperstown, New York. For old time's sake, Babe takes a cut for the cameraman. The familiar stance and swing that once made him the most fearsome slugger of them all. His 1927 record of 60 home runs still stands. Yankee Stadium celebrates its birthday with one more salute to American baseball's greatest guy, Babe Ruth.